Good evening. Welcome to Thursday night around my kitchen table again. We can't all be here together, but this is kind of a nice way to gather. So I hope all is well with you. I hope everything's no sickness and everybody's getting along well. There's a couple that are ill, and I hope you folks are recovering all right. I just pray no more problems with you. And this virus isn't bothering you any. I hope you're just able to continue on with your normal routines. It'd sure be good to get back to what we used to call normal, wouldn't it? Instead of some of these things. I guess we're getting used to it, though. Sometimes it's a bit inconvenient. Well, the story we're going to talk about tonight is found in the book of Judges, beginning in chapter 13. And again, we're talking about women of the Bible. And I think it's kind of nice to talk about the women of the Bible because we don't usually highlight those women. You usually talk about the Apostle Paul or some of the other disciples or Jesus, but yet it's the women of the Bible that are very important as well, and some of the roles that they played, and unfortunately they're there in the scriptures, and without them the things that they did, we wouldn't have our faith today. Messiah wouldn't have happened, and so forth. So they played very important roles, and the Lord, they'd won the Lord's favor. The Lord gave them His favor, and oftentimes He sent His messengers. He sent His angels to talk with the women, where He didn't do that a lot of times with the men. So tonight, this woman's again, this woman's name is Manoah's wife. And we don't know her name. Only her husband's name was all. Her name has remained anonymous. But her role was very important in the nation of Israel, and freeing the Israelite people from their oppressors, the Philistines. Now the rabbis traditionally say that her name was Zelponi. It's spelled Z-L-E-L P-O-I or P-O-N-I, and she's from the tribe of Judah, which is the tribe that Messiah came from, the tribe that Jesus came from. And so I'm not going to try to pronounce her name. I'm just going to continue to call her Manoah's wife, or wife. That's what the scriptures call her. Well, Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and so the Lord had turned His back on them and let their enemies, the Philistines, come in and take their nation over and put their people under great oppression, and for some 40 years. The people didn't cry out. They didn't get that far. The Lord saw that after 40 years that it was time to raise up a man to send that man against the Philistines so that he could set the Israelites free. Manoah's wife was barren and sterile, as the angel had mentioned to her. And the angel said, "You don't have any children, but you're going to have a son." But all indicators were that even though she was childless and sterile, that she was a great woman of faith, that she was a godly woman, because the Lord sent His messenger, His angel, who appeared before Manoah's wife and said to her, even though you're childless and sterile, you're going to have a son. Sounds impossible, doesn't it? But our God is known for doing the impossible. Well, Manoah's wife didn't question the angel, but she didn't even ask his name. Now, even though she was childless and barren and the angel appeared to her, there's about 6 or 7 other women in the scriptures that had similar circumstances. Abraham's wife, Sarah, for one, and then Samuel's mother, Hannah, was another who the angel of the Lord, who was barren and without child, and the angel of the Lord appeared to her and said that she was going to have a child. In the same way here, the angel said that you're going to have a child and you're going to have to do certain things. You're not going to be allowed to eat of the fruit of the vine or drink fermented drink or wine or eat any unclean thing, because this child will become a Nazirite from birth while he's still in your womb. Now, a Nazirite was a person who had dedicated themselves to God, and usually that happened later in life as they become an adult. But in this case, God said this son is going to be set aside and dedicated for me while he's still in his mother's womb. Manoah's wife went and told Manoah that the angel or the man of God had appeared before her, and she told her husband what the angel said, and he didn't know whether to believe her or not. And he said, I wished I'd have been here to have heard that. And he prayed to God to send him a sign that the angel did indeed tell his wife to do certain things in bringing up that child, and that he was going to have a child. And so Manoah was out in the field working one day, and the angel, this man of God, this angel of God, this messenger of God, appeared to his wife once again. And she ran to tell her husband that this man of God is here, and he's with us, telling us some other things as well. Manoah came to the man of God. He did not realize that this was an angel. He only knew this man to be a man of God. And Manoah asked what the boy's rule in his life would be. What rules will he have to follow? What will he have to do as he grows? And the angel said, first of all, let the woman obey the things that I said to her. She must not have anything to eat that comes from the vine, and no wine or strong drink can pass her lips, nor anything unclean. She is to observe everything I told her. Then this boy will be a Nazirite when he's born, and he'll be raised that way. Now, Nazirites, people that set themselves aside for God, had certain customs and traditions that they followed and obeyed. First, they never cut their hair. They just let it grow. No razor was ever upon their head. They didn't drink fermented drink. They did not touch any dead body or anything that was unclean. And there are a number of other things that they followed as well as they dedicated their lives to God. Now Manoah asked the man of God, or the angel, he said, we would like for you to stay with us until we can at least prepare a young goat for you. And the angel said, listen, even if you detain me, I will not eat any of your food. I don't want any of your food. You can't buy me. I work for God. You can't buy me. And so he said, but if you're going to prepare a burnt offering, prepare it and offer it to the Lord. Again, Manoah did not realize that this was an angel or the messenger of God. He only knew it was a godly man. And he asked the angel's name. And he said, tell me your name so that we can honor you when the things you've said come true. And the angel replied, why do you ask me my name? It's just simply beyond understanding. Now, some scholars have said this angel that appeared to Manoah and his wife was Jesus himself, but there's nothing to indicate that. We're just simply told in the scriptures that he was an angel of God. Now, Manoah and his wife took this young goat and a grain offering, and they sacrificed it on a rock. And they watched as the flames consumed this offering. And they watched the flames grow higher and higher toward the heavens from the altar. And then the angel of God, we're told, ascended in the flames toward the heavens. And when they realized that they were in the presence of one who was holy, they fell down to their faces thinking that they would surely die because they saw the face of God, or they thought. And the wife said to Manoah, if the Lord meant to kill us, he would not have accepted our sacrifice from our hands. He would not have told us that we would have a son and that we would name him Samson. Manoah's wife was a great woman of faith and obedient to God, and she trusted him and she believed God. And because of her faith and trust and obedience, God worked through her and did the impossible. Manoah's wife shows us what God can do if he chooses through those who believe and obey. Samson would become the strongest man the world has ever known. And he drove out the Philistine oppressors, and he set his people free. All because of his mother's faith and obedience. Well, I hope you find that story interesting. It's important for us, is it not? No matter what we go through, to keep the faith. And whatever you're going through, if you're going through any problems or troubles, and I don't mean to try to make victims out of you, but be like Manoah's wife and keep the faith. Have a blessed week.